Hi, my name's Ramble, and on behalf of weird creature kids everywhere, I've got a bone to pick with the How to Train Your Dragon marketing team. See, DreamWorks has jumped on the Disney bandwagon of taking beloved animated properties and turning them into mediocre animated properties, featuring live actors. Hooray! And for this endeavor, they obviously picked How to Train Your Dragon, a film heralded as one of the best animated movies of all time. Live action remakes are bad for all the standard reasons, of course. They deprioritize original content being made. People don't like it when they have to face the fact that their favorite characters are played by real human beings whose opinions may differ from theirs. And worst of all, in my opinion, you have to poke holes in the original in order to justify the remake. And one of the problems they're usually fixing is the mere fact that it's animated. Because, as Dean DuBois, the director of the original How to Train Your Dragon and the live action, puts it, you just can't get the same nuance of expression with animation. But no, don't look at those interviews from 2012 where they talk about the incredible expressions they're able to accomplish with the new software they have for the sequel. You're not supposed to be paying attention to that. Pay attention to the cool new edgy How to Game of Thrones Your Dragon thing they're doing now. And this is my problem. Disney did it with Snow White, too. The studio comes out and goes, hey, this incredible piece of art we made that was revolutionary for the time and is a solid piece of animation history, it's actually really dumb and for babies. So we're going to bring you something edgier and cooler to appeal to the hip masses. Because Bob Iger, our 74-year-old CEO, he knows what the kids want. And they want Gal Gadot. No, they Gal Gadot. I'm way too proud of that one. And sure, there were problems with some of these originals. But if you have to minimize the impact of the thing that you're copying in order to make yours look good, then yours just sucks. In fact, what are the justifications they're using for this remake? Considering the original movie only came out 15 years ago, surely there must have been some grave error that was made that completely changed the original direction they wanted to go with the script, right? Right? I mean, that has to be the case. Oh, looks like they had a rushed production schedule in Hollywood. Shocking. It's not like that's something that every single Hollywood film ever deals with. And also, that objectively makes the original 10 times more impressive than whatever they're putting out now. Dean DuBois and Chris Sanders were brought on with 15 months to finish the film. This includes a complete rewrite, story development, storyboarding, everything. It was in a rather dire state, with Toothless being one of these little chihuahua dragon thingies, and the plot being more closely based to the books. That's right, there's books. Cressida Cowell wrote them, and they're incredible. Go read them. They're all adorable. I love them. They're kind of irrelevant to this, but also very relevant to this. See, according to the directors, when they were brought in, the briefing they were given was that the movie would have a young Viking named Hiccup befriending a dragon named Toothless, and that was it. The similarity to the source could stop there. I know. Accuracy to the source is important. But I would argue the point of an adaptation is to change things. It's to carry the emotion and feelings of the original into a new medium that helps better illustrate a different perspective of them. If you're making an adaptation that is, hypothetically, taking a 3D movie and turning it into a worse 3D movie with the exact same plotline, that is a bad adaptation. However, if hypothetically, you're taking books that were written in a cute journal format with illustrations and doodles and turning them into a young adult children's animated movie, that would be a good adaptation. You are manipulating a medium to tell your story and expand on ideas that are central to the main narrative of the original. A large theme in the books is boyhood and the struggles that come with growing up. All the little awkward, goofy moments and the challenges and the expectations of society. Taking those themes and feelings and turning it into an animated movie where you can use color for storytelling and cinematics and the way that things move. Even the fact that Toothless's animation is inspired by a panther, I personally think is a storytelling element. Hiccup is a clumsy king. He's awkward and clunky and has no sense of direction with his body. Toothless moves like a predator. His movements are slick and intentional and stealthy. They balance each other out because the attention to detail of the animation is just that good. And to me, that makes it an incredible adaptation. The animated movies are not accurate to the books. It would be closer to say that the movies are inspired to the books, but nonetheless, they do it well. And it is clear to see both how the books inspired the movie and how the movie used the themes and tone of the books in order to elevate its storytelling. And this is what makes it clear to me that these executives have no idea what an adaptation actually is. The live-action version is being marketed as sticking incredibly close to the original, and the early reviews I've seen have said that it is basically the same movie with a couple of extra stoic scenes. Animation takes a long time to do, so I'm recording this before it comes out, but still close enough to the release date to have seen a couple of the advanced reviews. And yeah, they all just say the same thing. It is the exact same movie with unnecessary lore filler and worse color grading. That is not an adaptation, that's a remake. A pointless remake. Well, not pointless, I guess. They're estimated to have 80 million reasons to make it an opening weekend. But what irks me is that they're pretending we don't know that those 80 million reasons are the reasons that they're doing it. They want us to believe that it's because of passion and love for the project, that Dean DuBois just couldn't stay away from the Dragon universe. He had to make the live action. No, he didn't. From what I heard, Universal wanted in on the live action money, so they hit up Dean DuBois and said, hey, we're remaking your movie. Do you want to be involved? It would make us look good. And Dean said yes. Now, it is so clear that everybody working on this film has love for it. It's an incredible series. They spent a decade working on it. I'm not going to sit here and say that Dean DuBois is just in this for the money, because that would not be true. He's also in it for the prestige. Because aside from the money, that is the only other reason live-action remakes are made. There is still an antiquated viewpoint floating around that animation is for kids. It's a perspective that's easy to have if you aren't exposed to the variety that animation can come in. A lot of people grow up watching their favorite childhood movies and then never explore animation outside of that. And that's okay. It's sad, but it's okay. The switch to streaming has made it easier for adult animated content to exist, but the mere presence of it doesn't erase the notions that someone might already have about it. Dean DuBois has said in interviews that this is an incredible opportunity to direct a live-action movie. This is a man who has worked in animation for 30 years. I don't think he looks down on the original. I don't think he hates the original. I don't think he looks down on animation. But I do think that the fact that it's a live action makes it a little bit seductive to work on. Now, he's also said that he's missed working on the series, which is understandable. It was his baby. And again, he spent a decade of his life working on it. But he's also standing in an interview room marketing it as grittier and higher stakes than the original, with more depth and nuance of expression. Implying that those are things animation just isn't capable of is a direct slap in the face to the animators he spent a decade working with. By trying to appeal to a more modern, mainstream audience, you're isolating the one that's been with you since the beginning. An audience, mind you, that's there partially because they admire the depth and complexity that already exists within the original. I mean, look at the last sentence of this article marketing the movie. Get ready for an adaptation that gives Hiccup and Toothless, well, more teeth. They had teeth. They had lots of teeth. Separated parents, bullying, masculinity expectations, disability, loss, discrimination, insecurity. Giving it a duller color palette doesn't make Hiccup the next Targaryen. It makes him hard to watch. So what's it gonna be, Universal? You can't have it both ways. You can't market this as a passion project and also market it as 10 times cooler than the original. In fact, if this was truly about the fans and you wanted to give them a spectacle for the 15th anniversary of the movie, you could have taken a page out of Leica's book. For the anniversary of Coraline, they did a 3D re-release in theaters. Personally, I would love to see Toothless soar right at me on the big screen, as would every other 2000s kid I know. But this isn't about the fans. This is about riding Disney's coattails all the way to the bank. I know it, you know it, they know it, and they're mushrooms. I mean, what are we doing here, people? Well, I know what you're doing here. You've just listened to me rant about something for 10 minutes, which I appreciate endlessly. Sometimes I feel like I'm going a little crazy, and it's wild to care this much about seemingly trivial things, but I love this movie, and it really sucks to see it being taken in a direction that feels like such a core betrayal to what it is as a film, and everything it represents. Speaking of things representing things, did you know that little thumbs up button down there represents the fact that you liked the video? I'm not telling you to do anything with it, I'm just saying, in case you were out of the loop. That is what that button means.